oh my God, she said I'm broke. No. Leave. Why are you still dealing with this woman who abuses you? You are choosing to be with somebody that talks to you. You're choosing to be with somebody that doesn't think highly of you and degrade you every single day. So why do you want to remain in that situation?
I can respond to that
Psychologically, first of all, time out. First of all,
why are you stuck?
Let me explain this to you, Aaron. Not all psychological verbal abuse is just belittling. It is actually trapping. Some people, I know lots of women that have came to the forefront and say, well, I was in this relationship so long because he convinced me that no one else would love me. See, this is why I say they're not smart. She's been pinching me for 12 months and doesn't understand it doesn't hurt. And this is an example of physical abuse that I don't speak on.
You got to get in there and twist.
That's how my mom used to do it.
Here at 8 at the table.
So she tries it. So, and as a man, I can't scream even if I'm.
But you got to get.
Yo, hold on.
Oh, you saw that? You saw the jump.
Yo, whoa.
You got to get that little piece of meat.
We almost went into sexual abuse, ma'am. Let me.
Yeah, the side meat, that's sexual abuse.
Listen, at the end of the day, and this is another thing, right? Let's talk about it because we've seen this happen so many times, right? Where at least, especially this year, right? We have like Chris Brown's situation, right? Where a woman was saying that he was sexually abusing her and it found out that it was a lie. But, well, I hate to say this is a bad example, but actually I won't do it.
Yeah, don't.
So what I will say is, if a guy, here's the craziest thing. If I hug you and I touch you, what can be considered inappropriate, but you might have been allowing it for 12 months. Tomorrow, on a 12th month and first day, you can turn and say, I never liked it. I'm going to jail. A girl, and I know this because as an attractive guy who's worked in many settings, girls have touched me inappropriately all the time.
Yeah,
if I ever said anything like, "Hey, yo," she grabbed my my ass, she smacked my ass, or she went and tried to grope my genitals, she would never face the same consequences that a man would if the roles were reversed. And this is just another example on just how abuse is different from men to women, but like sometimes some things, not all, some things are being the consequences are not being equivalent to the actions per gender.
Yeah, like many other things in life.
Because the guys like the abuse?
I mean,
I was wondering.
but sometimes the girls like it too until you get mad at me. Until I say, yo, you know what? I'm not fucking with you no more. You know what? Hey, by the way, HR, yeah, so Rico touched me here on this day, and I'm very uncomfortable working with him. Next thing you know, I'm fired. I might be even facing an investigation and all these other things. But let me and you be messing around and you tell me you're not working, you're not, into me no more. And I go and I say, hey, HR, Amanda has touched me in certain ways.
I don't really think it's like a spice. It's not a spiteful thing. I just feel like
I just seen it spitefully. That's why
we're not into each other at all. Like I feel like for a man, it's like I can touch you and you're not into me, but you like the attention. You're gonna be like, man, I don't fuck with her like that, but she crazy. I'm gonna be like, yeah, don't do that ever again. Like
that happened to me. A girl.
I think the responses are different.
A girl grabbed my ass at the bar. And I knew her, but I was surprised she did that. And then I went around and did that back to her, and she said, no, don't do that. I said, well, you touched my ass, because we never played that kind of game before.
That's not a game to play.
Well, once
She
again,
started it.
Yeah.
no, but I'm just saying.
No, but I'm just saying,
Because she do it.
I touch your ass. You touch my ass. I'm gonna touch your ass. Like that's
Playing grab ass.
But no, we're being.
What game is this?
But it's equal right at this point. But go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like literally, like
That's
she
a
grabbed
weird
my ass, and I did I enjoy it? Yes, because there was an attraction to her. I did enjoy it. I didn't tell her that, but I said, ooh, okay. I did that, and I turned around and grabbed the ass. She said, no, don't do that. I said, but you grabbed my ass. But even prior to that, I've known her for some months. We've never played that kind of game before where we were touching each other. They were dancing and that was it. But like it was never that. So she took it upon herself. I don't know if it was the liquor. Cause we were at the bar and she.
There's no consequence. That's what, yo. Even like there's a girl on Instagram who I actually had to comment and be like, yo, I commend you because I always question this, right? Girls physically, technically, they sexually abuse women all the time in clubs, right? If a girl sees a girl that she's never met, she's never spoken to, she don't even say hi. She touches her titties, she touches her ass, she touches everything.
Oh, I seen it. No, I seen it. Yes, yes. Okay.
All right, but what I'm saying is they touch in a sexual manner, right? And they've never met them. And there was this one girl, she was telling a story. She was like, I'm uncomfortable with that. And like her and the girl had to exchange words. And it was like, and she left. But my thing was, I was like, yo, it's so wild because it's so normal for women to be able to touch people under privilege.
That's their privilege.
Yeah, it's so normal for them to touch them inappropriately. But then again, don't face any consequences, which is wild to me.
You know why? Because they're going to say us men are stronger and women are not that opposing of a size. Because they're going to use that factor that men are stronger and men
well,
are
Oliver
bigger.
is 155. He's the same weight as a lot of women. So
I'm experiencing weight abuse. You know, I'm experiencing physical abuse.
It is.
Physical abuse. Thank you, Rico, for
identity
perpetuating
abuse.
that. And identity. Because I identify as a slim, fit, athletic man. So I am feeling triggered. Yes, not slim, thick. Okay, Amanda is now added to the train of abuse as well.
That's just what I thought you said. I'm not
where?
abusing. That's just what I thought you said, but you said slim.
I identify as a size 4.
Thank you. See that?
Me too.
My castmates, the privilege. Wow.
But I wear a 6, so I ain't that
Thank you
far.
for laughing at my pain. Thank you.
My new
Thank
size
you.
is a size 4. Okay.
Anyway,
Mandy and I identify as size 4.
Anyway, Erin, did you have
I'm
some statistics to
125
get
pounds.
into, Miss Erin?
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
so
Let's segue.
what were we You right, Oliver.
we're talking about physical abuse between men and women on both
we're
sides
gonna-
of the spectrum.
But Erin has some really keen facts to share with us.
So one, I do think that we are in a day and age where things are starting to become more equitable between males and females. So I believe that more men would be engaged in coming forward than maybe 20, 30 years ago.
Yes, but not that much. But yes.
You don't think so?
It is
No.
a lot, but it's like what, the 5 versus
You know what it is? Like, this is what I was going to say
This
before.
is an opinion, just FYI, this is an opinion.
So I sent something to Alan for somebody that I know. That I don't know him personally. I know of him because he's from Jersey, whatever. He had a situation. He had a situation where his girl beat him, or like he had scratches. His whole eye was swollen. He had marks all over his neck. And he's like, yeah, this is what my ex did, blah, 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 blah. And I read the comments, and I read only 2 comments out of probably like 60. They were like, how do we help you, or how do we support you in that regard? Then it wasn't so much just women. It was both parties and a lot of men. It's like, that can never be me. I even said that myself, but not in the comments. But my thing is like, as a man, it's like, I know I'm already looked at as less than a man because as a man, I'm supposed to be the stronger, I'm supposed to be able to have the physical ability to stop a situation between a woman who's supposed to be, smaller, weaker, or inferior in a physical sense. And I really want to say this. In 2022, there's a lot of women who can beat a lot of men, right? Like, not me, but yeah, we have, right? Like, but so what I'm saying is the playing field is equal out here.
Right, okay.
For some people, not for Rico.
So if the playing field is equal, that leads me to ask, why won't more men say something?
It's the ego.
It's because of men like Rico.
Not speaking up.
Right, so I'm saying if it's your ego is affecting you from reporting your abuse.
Society don't support that.
Well, no, it's not.
I'm just saying,
It's not
these
the
are your
ego.
words,
Yeah,
right?
ego and society.
No, it's consequence.
No. She's saying, why won't we speak up?
It's the consequence. There's no real consequence.
I still think it's ego.
The only real
If I knew,
thing coming out of it is just you complaining about getting
Exactly.
Yes.
There's no
Like, there's no
consequence.
consequence.
It's not like
That's
she's
all
gonna.
charges.
She's
More
not.
people will
No,
make
you
fun
can
of
file
that guy.
charges, but think about it like this: if a man battered a woman's face like the way his was, he'll be in jail for at least 6 months to a year, guarantee it. She can do that to him, and I'm gonna say, and I
Maybe
don't.
she get a month.
This is opinion. Yeah, I'm gonna give her
Month.
90 days.
Yeah.
I don't think the consequences equate the same. So it's like, why even bother?
The
Why would
only
I even
way
come out of it?
It would. The woman have to be extreme. Let's say she stabbed him, or poisoned him, or shot him. It has to be extreme cases
Yo,
for women.
here's a real
Just
story.
hair fracture
Here's
for
a real
men.
story, right? Here's a real story. Mom, don't get mad at me.
I just want to know why y'all not reporting it.
Because there's no real consequence. Ready? So look,
In the comments,
my mom and my step.
Sorry.
Mom, I won't do it.
that's a sign.
Your mom said not today, boy.
That was a spiritual abuse. That was a
That was
sign
a
of God.
spiritual abuse.
Spiritual. That was a ghost.
I'm sorry.
Hair into the table.
No, you gotta fix the boxes first, Aaron. And
Well, I was trying to do the boxes.
Aaron.
No. Aaron, bring us home with some stats.
Yes.
Well, okay. And I think, honestly, I don't think any of this is surprising, to be very honest. So 1 in 4 women and 1 in 9 men experience severe intimate partner physical violence, intimate partner sexual violence, or intimate partner stalking with impacts such as injury, fearfulness, PTSD, use of victim services, contraction of sexually transmitted diseases. Ooh, that's a good one to talk about.
I
Yeah.
never thought about that.
It says 1 in 3 women. Now this is the crazy one. 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men have experienced some form of physical violence by an intimate partner. So it looks like
It's pretty
this
even.
shit is happening way. You know what? We're gonna leave that right there.
We're gonna leave it.
We're just gonna leave it right there.
I don't celebrate Christmas.
Happy holidays. So I'm not gonna lie. When I read that earlier, I was actually kind of shocked.
Why?
Because they're so close. 1 in 3 and 1 in 4. I don't know.
Yeah,
like
it's
for,
really
for
close.
me, I was raised to keep my hands to myself.
No, but outside of that, you never heard stories or like women just.
She's probably not really like. I mean, you're a guy.
Yeah, so men would know more.
Yeah, we talk
than-
to guys,
Oh,
like
right.
you know what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like just like I probably know more women who where men have put their hands on women because we've spoken about these things. But I was just shocked that the numbers were so close, you know, and
It's damn near the same. It's like probably what, a 10% difference.
Well,
33 to 25. It's a 8% difference.
33.25.
Yeah.
No, that's 12.
I don't know what
Oh,
math that is.
33, 25.
It ain't math.
No, it's not.
Oh no, 25. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
8. Yeah,
8% difference.
Okay.
my bad. I was going the wrong way.
It's the glasses, Rico.
I don't know. Like I really wish that people, women, and I'll just say women especially, like, because if we start hitting a man, it puts us in a vulnerable position to be hit back, to be shoved. You know, you might get shoved and hit your head,
Yeah.
and it was literally just to move you away from him. You know what I'm saying? I just wish that, obviously we don't want men hitting women, but as far as women, I think that we can control like those physical situations a little bit better. I will say this now. If she get aggressive with them words, y'all men, y'all need to keep y'all motherfucking hands to yourselves. Because she ain't put
I
her
agree with
hand,
that.
she ain't
I
put her
agree.
hands on you.
You could call me
Yeah.
anything. I'm not gonna hit you because words
Facts.
is words.
But a lot, but we talked about this, the verbal abuse, because this is the thing. Women abuse verbally because that's where our strength as far as abuse.
Yeah, but
abuse
when you
comes
go to
from.
jail, when you go in front of that judge, that's what I'm thinking about. Like,
No.
judge, she
I
called me a
agree.
dumbass for 30 years, so I decided to just cut her arm off.
rolled up
The
in
punishment
court,
don't
honey.
fit the crime.
but I'm saying, like, as far as abuse,
Yeah.
women wield words.
Of course,
And
that's their weapon.
And when it comes to abuse from men wield physical power.
Physical, financial.
And so, well, I'm just saying we're gonna put this at a very like baseline.
Yeah.
You know, both people can have money, but they
Mhm.
can still be physically, you know, verbally and
Mentally,
physically abused.
psychically,
Yeah,
all that.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I just think that we women in those situations, we actually have more control when it comes to keeping our hands to ourselves. You know, if you can't talk in the moment, just walk away.
And also know your partner. If you
Yeah,
know
I mean,
your partner's
you
a
do have to, you
hothead,
do have to know your partner.
also know your partner. If you know your partner's a hothead, like, yo, like, let's say like the bitch word is the trigger for Rico. Now,
It definitely is. I will
and
lose
if-
my shit.
And honestly, that's called provoking. So if I know this word is gonna make Rico go
I'ma
crazy,
say it.
and the woman says it, right? And
I'ma
Rico
say it,
blacks
yeah.
the girl eye. Granted, yeah, it looks crazy, but when you in front of the judge or whatever, and you're like, yo, I said that, and then let's say the judge asks you like, why would you say this? Because he got me mad, and I know that was gonna get him. I mean,
And that's-
once again,
That's not how it would work.
you know what
but
I'm saying? But
one's
once
saying
again,
that's
that
the
doesn't
judge.
mean Rico should hit the women. But women, still, y'all know what buttons to push.
yeah, I just
Know your
think
partner.
I think it's unfair. See, and this is my
Yeah,
this is my
see,
issue,
look.
right? You cannot.
Sorry.
I don't care if you're a woman or a man. You cannot provoke.
Shit.
Yeah.
You cannot provoke somebody and expect them not to react. I'm not saying that a man hitting a woman is okay, but I'm also saying that you should.
Consequence.
I'm also saying that you should not be doing something that knows when you know that you could potentially put yourself in a position to be hit.
This is such a slippery
Yeah,
slope.
because
Nah,
it's not fair because legally,
Slippery though, bro.
but legally, right? Legally, physical aggression or physical acts does not deem as much as verbal acts, which is unfair, right?
What do you mean that's unfair?
Because there's people that have been bullied their whole lives, right? And now we're seeing
You see they
this
come back,
change now. We're
They
seeing
start killing people.
we're seeing this change more so now, right? Because if you bully in certain schools, it's a zero tolerance. You could be held in all different
They
types
start
of.
trying you in
There's
court for
people who
that.
have bullied people verbally, right? Verbally abused somebody to the point where they committed suicide. Those people don't go to jail. But it's
don't
not-
think they should go to jail.
But that's not fair because not everybody has the same mental capacity to actually control themselves. You don't know what people are going through or went
But
through.
listen, that's literally the exact same thing. That is equivalent to saying, well, some men don't have the mental capacity to not hit women.
Well, I don't think that is right.
Yes,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is, because you're
yeah.
saying, yo, I was provoked by words, so I reacted with my fists. That person clearly doesn't have the mental capacity or maturity to just, clap back.
But what
and
if that
reason.
woman knows
No,
that's a trigger?
But
What if
that's
that
what I'm
woman
saying.
knows?
It depends on
What
yeah.
if she
You
knows
can't
that's a trigger?
you can't do something
Aaron?
conscious. Like I think I agree.
That's the
This is my
psychological.
this is what my slight is, right? If you're talking to me and you're just talking to me with no ill intent, no premeditated triggering responses, no man should. First of all, men should try. People. First of all, women should control her. You
Humans.
control your mouth. You
Humans.
control your hands. Right? But when you get to a point as a person where you're trying to abuse somebody in one way and then you experience abuse in another way, you're both wrong.
No, so okay, okay, fair. We'll say you're both wrong, but at the end of the day, we're looking at this from a legal perspective because this is how y'all
Yeah,
approached
that's
it
what's
earlier.
illegally, yeah.
Y'all approached it where consequences are not the same. So you can't expect a person to be, have criminal charges brought against them because they talked crazy to you.
Which is wild.
How is that wild?
Because
how is that? What?
Well, Rico, criminally, that is I get it, but like criminal
Because
charges.
you know
what I'm saying is you have if that's
It
the
is
case.
provoking, but
no.
it's not gonna get tried.
What I'm trying to say, no, I'm saying it's wild that it doesn't.
Why? Why is it wild?
Because if you suffered a consequence for having a verbal abuse, I guarantee you women would probably be less verbally abusive, or men as well. So now when we get to a point, like we have to understand that psychology 101. If I say anything to you that's going to make you act out of order, I am now in control of you. Right? You have already submitted control to whatever that situation
pulling the
is.
strings.
Exactly.
Puppet master.
And so like if I
Whose
call,
problem is that?
it's your problem for doing it.
No, it's not.
If
because you know that's a trigger.
you know what's going
No,
on.
if somebody is talking crazy to you, you know what you can do?
Walk away.
Thank you.
We're not talking about that.
And that's
Now,
the
but
what,
Let me
how does
just say
ready-
that physical abuse is the only kind of abuse on that paper that is illegal. That's it.
Thank you.
Agreed.
And that's not
it.
fair.
So there's no reason, Rico, that someone should be punished for verbal abuse if that leads to you having done physical abuse.
Oh, matter of fact,
That's what I'm saying.
I just
Why
thought
would
of
they
something.
be
You're
punished?
wild.
I just thought of something real quick. No,
You had me and you lost
No.
me.
I don't know.
No,
why
that
I
makes
had
sense.
you.
We're gonna cut you, and
No,
I'm gonna just
I
yeah.
don't know why you had me because I was literally
Because
going
my
to
thing
get
is this.
I think this is what should happen. You know what? they should be tried, but I'm gonna give you both sides. They shouldn't be criminally charged, but what they should do is some type of community service. So like,
Fine,
hear me out.
that's a criminal
If
charge. by the
you
way.
were verbally abusing me, right, and it's been proven.
Because you
Hear me
couldn't.
out. Wait. Let me. I
being
got
called a
this.
bitch?
Hear me out. Whatever it is.
Let him go.
I got this. Let's say I can prove for years you've been verbally abusing me. That's check. And then you have proof that I hit you. Check. Yes, I'm criminally gonna charge, but we're gonna community service. You have to do something. You're not gonna be sitting at home. Something that has to be done to you. So I mean, you may not be put in jail, but maybe you know how they have social workers that come by? Maybe you have like a worker that comes for you, check on you. Maybe you can't be around. Like something has to be done. That's what I'm saying.
Hold
You know what I'm saying?
on. This is
Wow,
Hold on.
That's a boo.
Let me just say this. It's so funny that you feel like they need to be punished because you're hurt. I said something.
say
Hold
go to
on.
jail.
No, you don't have to go to community service. Are you kidding me? Hold on.
It's punity.
I hurt you with words.
For years.
So you're saying
It's years.
something has to give. They need to be punished. Like community service. Make them pick up the paper in the
It
park.
could be whatever. Or
Wait.
you go see a therapist every so often. You go
You
talk
need
with
to
someone.
go see the therapist.
I'm in jail. I hit you. I'm in jail.
It's a you problem.
I own mine.
This is a you issue.
So when do you own yours?
I
How
can-
many men in
I
Brooklyn,
can work-
Amanda, are you
first
going to be
of-
calling a bitch before you get checked?
I call
Like,
anybody a bitch.
and
But
let's be real.
But if you're the bitch that decides wants to
I
hit
mean-
me over it,
I'm in jail.
come on,
I
man.
own mine. So nothing happened. You can
And-
go around dating boyfriend after
And
boyfriend.
I'm gonna,
calling bitch.
while I see you locked
So
up,
Aaron,
I'm
you
gonna
could go
say,
around in Houston
"Bye,
calling
bitch.
men bitches and bitches and bitches.
Bye, bitch.
Wait,
And nothing?
Wait, so
Nothing?
can I bring clarity
Wow.
to this? Let me just bring clarity to this.
say anything.
I'm gonna bring clarity to this because this is what the craziest thing that I'm hearing, right? I'm hearing a woman tell a man that she can say whatever she wants to say and there's no punishment, right? This is what I'm saying. But yet, publicly, if you verbally abuse Kanye was considered verbally abusing communities and cultures, and they suffered a consequence. Okay, Kanye lost over $1 billion in
You should
assets.
lose your cakes.
Wait, hold on.
Those are not legal consequences.
But those are still. I don't care legally. I'm just saying
It's not legal, but
consequence.
it's society consequence.
You're getting a consequence. So Kanye can lose. First of all, if I say anything remotely close that could be considered anything against
yeah.
anything against the LGBT community, like the baby, he said something on a concert, and then he was basically canceled. Cancel culture, right? Which stems from what? Cancel culture stems from verbal. Cancel culture stems from verbal abuse, and that's the point that I'm trying to make. It's crazy to me that we can have women sit here and say, I can say whatever I want to say, and I should not be held liable of anything because you should be able to control yourself. Before, if you want to ask me, hey, Rico, how did you grow up? I grew up with saying sticks and stones may break my break my bones, but words should never hurt me, right? That's not the case in 2022 no more. That's not the same rule. So because that's not the same rule, we have to apply that to everything. So if that we have to go and apply that to everything, hey, listen, ladies, you shouldn't be calling men bitches. I mean, no man should be hitting you at the same time, but don't provoke them. Why would you poke a bear? It doesn't make sense to
Because
me.
these dudes are not bears. They're fucking kids.
I don't want to see
Until he scratches the shit out of you.
If you verbally abuse me, you should
now
lose
you have
your
a battery
cake business.
charge.
You should lose your cake
And
business.
and that's the
Amanda.
crazy thing.
Let me just say one more thing about punishments because I feel you on the whole Kanye and Kyrie or whatever.
different things.
There's
They did nothing.
there's a consequence that they face as two people seen
Leave it
in
alone, Rico.
public. But someone like me, the consequence that I face isn't community service or jail. I might lose all
say
my
jail.
friends. I might lose.
That's good.
If we're in a relationship and I verbally abuse you and you punched me, so now our relationship is over.
Okay.
Your family,
And I'm in jail, yeah.
they're not
He's
gonna
in jail.
talk to me.
You just don't have your family. Fuck that. Yo, listen,
lose
bro,
your
we can't
businesses?
do that.
Guys,
You
I'm
should
not
lose your
gonna
business.
Yo.
My business doesn't have anything to do with you.
let her finish.
I'm saying the loss of people or me not having a relationship with you anymore, that's my punishment. I'm just saying, and not everything is legal. Not everything is
I agree.
a criminal charge,
I agree.
especially verbal abuse. And I'm just saying that's not how
All
it
we are
works.
saying is something should be done.
Guys, let's just look at this like
You gotta
from
get
a-
your lick back however you
let's-
get it.
Get your lick, yeah. But let's look at this at the very lowest level, right? So let's say I pull a knife on you, right? And you have a knife with you and you have a gun with you, right? If you shoot me versus stabbing me, there's gonna be a difference in how your reaction is viewed by the courts, right?
Depending on the state.
Well, that's everything is state.
No, depending on the state you do it in.
But she's trying to
I know,
say that's regardless.
In
Yeah,
Jersey-
because it's every state.
Yeah, but in New Jersey, there's no self-defense. It's done. But in Florida, we seen Trayvon Martin's case,
No,
right?
no, you're on something totally different.
I'm just saying.
First of all, criminal acts,
No variable.
whatever. Everything is based. Everything is state based.
Yes.
So meaning, if every state has their own rules, states' rules are not
You're
variables.
not about
in
to
this
break
scenario.
down all this
right?
things.
So what I'm saying is that your reaction when you had an option to meet me with the same force, which would be a knife, but you shot me and killed me, right? The courts are going to look at that differently as far as self-defense and as far as what your reaction was. So if you're saying, hey, Amanda, she's been verbally abusing me and I hate it and this, that, and the other, you know what your options are? It's not to hit her. It's to respond in kind, meaning you respond with words, because that was the action that she perpetuated.
I get that.
No,
I
wait.
didn't argue
Wait,
that.
okay, wait, just wait. I'm just
Okay.
looking at
Don't
you
even
just
say
because you're in
anything.
my line of vision.
Got you.
So when it comes to putting
Want to-
hands,
You
so
leave
if
it there.
somebody hits you, right, physically abuses you, how do you even look verbally abusing them as your response? It don't even make sense.
You want to answer?
No, but
Oh,
this
okay.
is rhetorical, but it doesn't even make sense. You sit here punching me in my face, and I verbally abuse you. That's literally not helping me in any sort of way. So what makes sense is for me to physically abuse you back. You see what I'm saying? So you have to meet in kind. You have to do the exact same thing.
Not
So
necessarily.
that is why there's no criminal charges against people for
we
verbal
get that.
for verbal
Here's the
abuse.
wild.
get that.
Let me paint a picture because
Yes, there are
let me-
consequences. Yes, there are consequences.
No, they're
all
not.
I
Right?
talk about.
There are societal consequences because things are subjective. There are societal consequences. But when it comes to like how the law views things, there's no reason why we
That's
should
the
be
only
looking
thing
at
I
it
agree with.
But here's the
That's the
thing.
only thing I would agree
The
with.
law was also put into a woman's favor, and we've all known that since the beginning of time. We have to paint a picture because it sounds like we're dismissing and basically like belittling the real verbal abuse.
We're not.
I agree if
We're not.
if you just call me a bitch, I should not just slap the hell out of you. I agree. But let's paint the picture because that's not how women verbally abuse men. It's not one word. It's not just, hey, I'm just saying it from across the room. I'm following you. I'm not only am I following you, I'm packing my bags and she's in my ear walking out. You ain't gonna be shit. You this, you that, and I'm walking, and as I'm walking and I'm doing what I'm doing, then at some point it's a snap point. Now I do agree. If you say one or two things, there should never be a reaction to some extent, depending on what you say. Because I can't tell if somebody's mother died and you say, hey, that's why your mother's dead and she was a bitch, and he slaps the hell out of you. Well, you don't talk about somebody's dead mother.
and now you have a battery charge.
But I'm not saying. But guess what? The law is not always made right, and some things need to change. Maybe this could be a spark for something to happen. Right here is saying that 48.4% of women have experienced at least one form of psychological aggression by an intimate partner during their lifetime, right? Then 48.8% of men have experienced one of these same forms of abuse. So what is that saying? Men are technically experiencing more psychological abuse than women. This is not a stat Rico made. This is by the census, right? Correct. Perfect. So this is not me making this stat. So now you have more men dealing with psychological abuse than women, but men cannot act upon being psychologically triggered, which is crazy to me. And I
What should be the response? I guess that's actually what I want.
I think it does depend. It does depend on the severity.
But what should be the response?
I was trying to implement that and y'all was laughing.
The response should be.
No, I'm saying what is the man's response?
Or the response, like if
The man's response, if the man could say, hey, listen, I mean, this is not really a thing, but hey, if anybody, man or woman, if you're dealing with psychological abuse in totality, if I can say, hey, look, I could call the cops because you hit me, I should be able to call the cops and be like, hey, look, she's actually.
No, that's not what I'm asking.
You're
I'm
saying
asking.
the response. The response should be,
You mean what?
Oh.
If you call me a bitch?
Thank you.
and
What should my response be?
my response should be, this
Like,
is.
what's reasonable?
I'm trying to explain that. I'm trying to explain that. The response should be.
When.
I had the
she talking crazy
That's
to
right.
me.
Right there.
And there we go.
Manipulated.
And that's my
Give a
thing.
fuck.
Oh!
But look.
Hold up. But look, you saw that, right?
When.
You saw that, right?
But then when it
Ladies and
turns
gentlemen,
into
that's
something
Erin the
else,
Renegade. She don't give a fuck about men's
Throw me in
mental
the jail.
and psychological well-being. She
it's-
says, I don't give a fuck. I am hurt. I'm triggered. Thank you, Erin. Thank
Which
you
is-
for perpetuating the same
I don't
wheel.
think that any.
Perpetuating the same thing.
I don't think
You
anybody
just asked
should be.
Rico just said, what should be the response? And you just said, I don't give a fuck.
No.
To,
He's saying call the cops. Call and whine to the cops. No. Oh my God, she said I'm broke. No. Fucking leave. Why are you still dealing with this woman who abuses you?
that's not
Tell
really
me
abuse.
that.
But
Like,
saying.
why-
You're going to go there?
Absolutely. Because I'll say the same thing for a woman.
Well, I'm saying,
Okay,
because-
I'm glad
Say
you
the
said that.
exact same thing.
Oh, I'm glad you said that.
So the thing is that
It's more typical.
Listen,
to say
if-
it for a woman,
if
though.
you're
Oh, whoa, you heard that?
just listen, if you're sitting around getting verbally abused every single day by someone who's not your parent, because when it's your parents, it's different because
Yeah.
you have to live with them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
At a
They
certain
provide-
till a certain age.
Yeah, but for the most part,
Right.
go ahead.
Yeah.
for
So
the most
generally
part.
speaking, you
Yeah.
have to be with your parents.
Yeah.
But you are choosing to be with somebody that talks shit to you. You're choosing to be with somebody that doesn't think highly of you and degrade you every single day. So why do you want to remain in that
I
situation?
can respond to that real quick.
Psychologically, first of all,
You're stuck.
time out. First of all,
Why are you stuck?
let me explain this to you, Erin. Not all psychological verbal abuse is just belittling. It is actually trapping. Some people, I know lots of women that have came to the forefront and say, well, I was in this relationship so long because he convinced me that no one else would love me. He convinced me that I was the only option that
Manipulation,
he
all
was the
that.
only option that I had. So when you talk about psychological, and this is the craziest thing, right? Because I don't want to get too far off the deep end, but psychological abuse realistically is just a manipulative game, right? So when you can manipulate somebody and then keep them in that same space, it becomes. That's why they have different crimes, right, and different consequences. If I've been manipulating you for 25 years and or abusing you for 25 years, whatever, and you kill me, there is a crime called the out of the act or murder by act of passion, manslaughter, all these different things.
No, it's not.
Erin, to answer your question though, why the person just won't leave?
Not.
Like,
So
You can Google it right
So,
now.
wait, real quick.
so committing murder out of the act of passion does not get seen differently than committing murder, is what you're telling me. Mislegality.
First of all, that's not an act of passion because someone
I'm-
verbally abuses you for 20 years and you kill them. That's not an act
passion be more like
Are you
intimate. It gotta be more intimate.
Are we serious right now? I can actually show you documentaries.
let's look
I don't
it
need Google. I already proved it
Google
once today. Listen, what I will say is
Google it.
we can. What I will say is when you've been traumatizing somebody and psychologically damaging somebody, at the end of the day, depending on the severity of it, you do face some consequence. But the problem is we have women and men who get away with it, and then they think if you just call and say, hey, I need help, you're whining. You're a baby. You need to just get up and go. But like Oliver said, some people are actually stuck. Me, I'm a real one. It would never happen to me.
I get that, but
Not
there are-
everybody's that strong.
Say never when it
It's
happens
never
to
happened.
you.
No, Erin.
There's never been a box
And I'm
in
gonna
this
say
world
it's a
that's that
human-
important
Say
to me.
never.
And I'm gonna
Me
make
to
it a
be
human.
Yo.
It's a human thing, real quick. Like, to get up and why don't you just leave? It's a human thing. We're not gonna put this on gender. It is, like you said, this abuse. This has been compacted for years. So yeah, theoretically, we could say get up and leave or walk away. But when you in the trenches and this is somebody you love or whatever, it's not that easy. So what I'm saying
I
is,
understand that
the
it's not
onus is if that woman know that bitch word for 30 years is a trigger, there has to be something that happens to you because something will happen to that man that hit you. We know that. We've seen it. But what we're trying to say is that, yo, now that we're rewriting these laws, whether it be legal laws or societal laws or Instagram laws, social media laws, we have to say, you know what? Something has to happen to this woman or that man who's been verbally. Because also, I also know that women, they're very strategic because you know that you will not go to jail for verbally abusing a man. So I've heard someone say, what you gonna do? Hit me? Hit me. Watch what happens to you.
Yo.
Wow. That's another level. And what is that man to do? Now, yes, that man should walk away. But the fact that you know you can verbally poke the bear, you broke, you whack, your sex is whack. Yes, he should leave, but he loves you. You know that. He's trying.
How do you love someone who...
That's a different question.
Yeah. That's a different conversation.
I guess I'm just trying to understand because for me,
I just told you, they're stuck. They're stuck.
I mean, regardless of the case, that all I'm gonna
sometimes.
say is this, and I believe this wholeheartedly, right? Women are never to face consequences the same as men. And I even bring I'll bring it up.
Not everything.
No,
in this
stop,
topic.
Oliver. I didn't cut you off. I'll bring it up in totality. We got Brittany Griner, who was just, pardoned by the Russian government, and for a swap. But however, there's been somebody who's been a male who's been in the Marines, held captive for 4 years, and we chose a WNBA woman basketball player over somebody who was serving this country. And I say this as a father. Guess what? If my daughter does something, remotely bad versus my son that does something remotely bad, I'm going to hold him more accountable on the consequences than I'm going to hold her. We protect women. Everybody protects women. The law protects women. Men protect women to the best of their ability. And then what ends up happening is women get the scapegoat that I can say whatever I want to you, no matter if it's traumatizing or not, and nothing happens. Nothing happens. But if I act out because of your actions, I'm the only one wrong.
I said that.
I have a question. So how would
I'm the only one wrong.
Express their
You should not express your shit in any abusive way.
Why are you
because
yelling?
it's crazy to me that you think that it's
I literally am just
alright.
talking in regular tone.
What I'm saying is this.
I understand
Okay.
why you're yelling.
All I'm gonna say is no woman should be able to express herself in an abusive way. No man should be able. No form of abuse should be accepted by gender.
And so how do we police that?
There has to be a consequence, whether it be a fine,
I think
whether it be community service.
No, we didn't say that.
What?
I mean, you want me to say the generic answer? Therapy, recognizing that
That's not a consequence, though. You can't regulate it.
Well, because she said, how do we regulate it or how do we get in front of it, right? That's what you was asking. So if you're doing it, you don't realize it.
Maybe
when you do realize
actually,
it.
there you go.
When you do.
Actually, Oliver, you're right. That's one. You get a fine. Like if I get my first drinking while driving, you usually get a breathalyzer. You have to do AA meetings, and you get a fine, right?
And so how do you prove that something was said?
Well, that'd be a whole.
How do you prove that it's a trigger?
Well, maybe.
No, I'm just saying, because this is the thing. You have to have a burden of proof.
Well, hey,
so if we have some sort of arbiter of justice, right?
We need video.
So who does this?
We need video.
Okay, so do people have video?
I'm not gonna lie.
I got cameras in my house.
But you know
There's
what?
cameras. There's 4 in my house.
It doesn't make sense because laws like that have to apply to everyone. We can't have someone punished because something triggered you specifically.
Thank you.
Like
Thank
you and Aaron
you.
are gonna have different triggers. So
You call me a bitch, I'm gonna sit here.
But Aaron, y'all proving my
But
point.
we're just saying the bitch word as an example.
Because they know what you do hit me, because they know it ain't gonna hold up in court.
No, possibly they know that you don't know how to control your emotions.
Yes.
And you don't know how to keep yourself in check.
Agreed.
So you don't know how to keep your motherfucking hands to yourself.
Ooh, so what
that
you
is
gonna-
the problem.
No, the
agree.
problem
No,
is
no,
you.
no, but wait, I got
You're
that
the
problem.
cause. That's the
sorry,
effect.
hold up, but wait,
You're the
wait.
cause.
The,
Rico,
ca-
real
the,
quick.
the
No,
cause
no.
is probably because your daddy beat you.
No,
No, okay.
the cause is because you don't know how to regulate your mouth.
No.
If you learn how to regulate your
Hold on,
mouth,
Aaron,
nobody
you
would
just
do
proved my
anything.
point. You have a litany of things, right? You know that Oliver can't control his temper. You know that Oliver's this and that. So what you gonna do? You whack. You keep going. You keep going, right? You wanna keep going because you know that at any moment I can't control myself. And what happens to me? Jill, what happens to you? Be honest. What happens to the woman?
Nothing.
What happens to the woman?
Nothing.
But hear me
But
out.
do you think that the police officer
Forget
or
the
the
police.
judge
Forget the
is going to
police.
care about
No,
your
no, no, no.
personal triggers?
I said forget the police. No. This is no more about court. We're talking about here at A to the table, right? And the audience and the viewers. Forget the police right now. We got that. You just know that I have all these triggers. You also realize we've been together for 5 years. You know what? I know when I say left, Oliver acts up. You have the proof. You know what triggers me. Why are you this way?
You soft, man.
You know I'm soft. Why don't you leave me? Why don't you leave me? Why stay?
Because she just loves you.
Why do you want to abuse them? She loves you because you want to abuse. All right.
I'm soft. My dick's small. I'm whack. Whatever. Give me all of it. Why are you still here?
Can't be walking on.
Why are you still here?
Can't say left.
Oh, you still can't answer me.
It was just an example.
But Rico, even if.
Because she just loves you so much.
Oh, okay. So we both
All I'm
toxic.
just saying is that it's all
both
wrong.
need-
And I think everything should have some type of consequence because, Oliver, you're right. It is toxic. Yeah. And at the end of the day, listen, I would agree if there was a mutual thing in the sense of if there was a mutual thing. Hey, listen, should a man be financially abusing a woman? No, you can't go nowhere because I'm the one. That also falls in the same thing as verbal and psychological because you need those two things to have to be financially abusive.
In this day and age, baby, she needs to walk away, go get a job.
I was just saying that.
Thank you. That's the only advice that we can give viewers in all of and therapy. As
walking
Oliver
away is always
walking away from a relationship once you start to
when it no longer serves you.
When it no longer serves you, once you start to experience any kind of this abuse, just walk away because no, not everyone's going to be punished as if you were physically abused or if you
in a relationship
acted on any physical abuse. Everyone's not going to get punished the same. For financial abuse, verbal abuse, it's just not going to happen. That's just the world we live in. Just walk away from the relationship so that you don't have to experience any kind of abuse anymore.
I mean, that's literally the easiest thing to do.
No. It's not easy. It's challenging. No. You can't say that. A lot of people still
listen,
the easiest thing.
Listen, when you say easiest, that means
option-wise?
No, that means it's in comparison to all these other options.
That'd be
right?
beautiful if they were thinking that.
It's easier than staying and
being abused. It's easier than hitting her.
Is it easy?
That's a privilege for us to say that.
Is it easier to not just say anything?
Let's not belittle. That's a level-headed privilege.
We're trying to say it's not easier to just not say anything disrespectful.
You know,
it is easy to do that.
You know what the easiest thing to do is? Don't say anything at all. But what we're going to say is, at the end of the day, no form of abuse is accepted and all forms of abuse are acknowledged. And we hope, because there are different ways for you to get out of that abusive relationship, we hope that you do find one of those ways to actually get out of that toxic relationship. Yeah. With that being said, this has been a great...
No, I got something to say.
Please
real quick.
Don't be toxic.
I got something to say. I think these are my parting words. People, keep your hands to yourself, first and foremost. Temper what you say. And I understand that sometimes people say things on purpose. But at the end of the day, when you love somebody and you care about somebody and you care about their emotional state, their feelings, how they're doing in life, learn to tame your tongue. You know what I mean? And I understand that sometimes things get heated and you will say something. But at the end of the day, we can't have a standard where we tell people to keep their hands to themselves and then not say anything about don't watch your mouth. Everybody needs to keep themselves in check. Keep your hands behind your back. If something is said out of line, you can walk away. You know what I mean? Like, we just got to really learn how to like live in harmony. Because I think that's the thing right now. We all expect people to understand where we come from, what we saying, why something is a trigger. You're triggered by A and I'm triggered by B. So it's hard to police that and to monitor that and to have everybody on the same page. So I think if we all just lead in a very different way, we wouldn't even have these issues.
I disagree a little bit.
Oh, disagree.
We can just leave it there.
Yeah, I'll just leave it there. Watch your fucking mouth, and that's it.
We're not.
On that note,
have a great one.
On that note, thank you. Thank you.
I don't know, real talk, you say something crazy to me, baby, I'm...